If you disabuse yourself of hate, then you would know that African sexuality has always been diverse. What the global village has done through the internet is simply to unveil this for us. You don't want to miss the interesting conversations on Demystifying the African Sexuality podcast. The DAS podcast. Okay, welcome to part 2 of our episode. Now, we are still here with Sani and the very good Guy. Yeah, his name is Guy, not just like Guy. So, back with you guys. So, I would love to know, would a heteronormative marriage for those that do not identify as bisexual qualify as, gay tax? And if yes, do you care to, elucidate on how it does? Explain how does it qualify?
I would go with definitely. And this time, these people are not just paying by society expectations and norms, but also their mental health, their happiness. They've sacrificed their whole happiness just to fit into a certain little box that is expected of them. Yeah, so I would go with definitely yes.
Well, every time I hear that question, I keep telling people, just sit down and imagine if the government one day woke up and decided that everyone should have a same-sex marriage, how would that work out for you? And then it brings them back to the reality of like, oh wow, yeah, I have to do it because the government says so, or I have to do it because the society expects me to. So that's exactly what is literally happening to everyone. Society has decided this is it. The government also decides this is it. If you try to do it differently, you're wrong. You're bound to be imprisoned or anything, or all that chaos that comes with it. So I believe anyone who does it to just please or fit in or is definitely paying, and they are paying in more than one way. I have a friend who apparently we actually fell out because he decided to get married, and I thought he was stupid, and I told him it's stupid, and I told him all these things, and we had a huge fight, and then he kind of stopped talking to me. So when everything went south, he did not say anything, because everything I told him that would happen happened. So he didn't say anything, and then it took him like 4 years to finally tell me he got divorced. And I'm like, it's not a surprise. I expected it to happen. I knew it would happen. I knew you could not handle what you're getting yourself into, because you are merely doing it because you wanted to fit in with the church which eventually doesn't want anything to do with you, because they actually found out who you are. So why did you do it anyway?
Ironically, traditionally, we were all welcoming of polygamous marriages. But now that people are more open and they want to have polyamorous relationships, okay, katinga mu society, before umusajja yali akirizibwa kubeera n'abakazi babiri, right? But now when a woman says nalyagadde ba boyfriend babiri, for reasons I don't want to explain, how do you think society will check that? Yeah. And sometimes these polyamorous relationships help within that tax. Maybe my boyfriend was queer, and they want to have the best of both worlds. What's wrong with that? And maybe me too. Let's say I'm dating maybe a trans woman and a bisexual man, and I'm a lesbian, so or bisexual woman. So that means both my boyfriends can have fun. And I get to also have fun with all of them. That society cannot accept. But Msaja Wagamba, I need 2 girls. That is totally understandable. Cool. And no one understands why those girls sometimes will take time off, and the husband is the one who's being left out. Anyways.
I believe we agree that heteronormative marriages are a form of gay tax. So I want you to tell me, what are some of the negative repercussions that would be carried with this kind of setting if somebody, let's say, decided to have a heteronormative marriage when it's not of their wish, maybe to fit in society? What would be the repercussions?
You never fit in. I'm speaking from a lot of experiences. You never fit in, that's one. And sexual orientation and sexual attraction are different things. So now I hate my husband and he's gonna beat me up. That's domestic violence. And then there's gonna be a lot of intimate partner violence, because marital rape is rape. If I say no and he still goes ahead and I say no, he will still have harassed me. You lose your mental health, you lose your dignity, because soon you're just psychotic and very, very abusive too. And the kids, marriage comes a lot with the kids. And at the end of the day, it's not going to work out. You will want to leave. And when you do, now you've already put another generation in the circus. And I think it's totally unfair that it is even a thing that, okay, you can do what you're doing on the law, but please kungulu wasa. That is very, very disrespectful for people to even ask, even for people to suggest, like, okay, us as a family, do you mind not embarrassing us? Like, just marry this nice man who wants you, and on the law, you can do your things. That means, first of all, I'm cheating on my partner, and maybe I'm not that kind of person. Double typing with your partner is something that brings a lot of violence in the relationship. Then we have people who are getting beaten up. We have children who are getting abandoned. We have a lot of messes that come out of those forced marriages. It actually has a name. It's called forced marriage. Just because now it's two-way, not just the girl child. People have shown light on it. There is also the males who are being forced into marriages. And they reach in those marriages and they resent the woman and they make her miserable because they're cheating and beating her up. And it's natural. It will come naturally. If they stick you in a room with somebody you don't like, at a point you're gonna break. Yeah. You get it? Yeah. So
boil up and look at you like nego benkubo but
I told you my best friend, every time my best friend was jagwe suleri, and you don't want to do that because and
they're crazy.
Yeah. What was the question again?
So what are some of the negative repercussions that would come with a heteronormative marriage? Yeah, that kind of arrangement, to fit in society.
Well, like you say, there's a lot of mental health issues involved in this whole situation, and then the domestic violence, and of course both parties are going to start cheating in some way. If I can't do what I have to do on the wedding night, then it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a discussion. Everyone is going to know so maybe it was the pressure and what. But if it continues, then of course, and when you get married, people are going to start watching your wife's belly. Even if it's a month later, they'll be waiting for it. That's already an expectation. So every single day is just a day where you resent yourself. You can pretend that you like the decision. And the thing also with getting married means you naturally have to end up with married friends, because single friends are just going to not understand what you're going through. So you end up with married people who are suffering. You are suffering, they can't help you. The single people look like they can't understand. So a lot of the time you are in your problems alone. Your family, society just wants the wedding, and that's it. The marriage is yours to fix, handle, carry, cry, stress, and do exactly. And no one will care. The people who might care will say, why don't you leave? But then you're thinking, oh, the kids, I can't leave. I'm doing this, for my family, not to shame them and stuff like that. But people care for a moment. People care for when it concerns them. People only care like in phases. It comes and goes. The only person that cares about you is yourself. So if you get yourself in such a situation, it's up to you to get yourself out. None of us, for us, will tell you leave, and you look at us as you don't understand. But yes, we don't understand, but what we understand
is that you're not happy.
Exactly.
And we've seen people actually, I've seen 2 people kill their partners because of that. I work with mental patients and all that. So when you give it time and you listen in and you see that this person just hated themselves and hated the fact that they had to be with this person, and they just broke, and of course the courts of law are going to say that is a crime of passion. No, I hated this person. It was not passion. I really wanted them out of my space, and because I hate myself so much, my mind has broken and I resorted to violence. And it does get worse. It can get to death. It can get to murder. It can. And also that person killing themselves. Somebody will wake up one day and say, if this bitch is not out of my space, I'd rather die. And it's a lot of suffocation. Genuinely, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Talking about heteronormative marriages still, I need to find out from the both of you, if you were heterosexual, would you allow your daughter or son to be married to a queer?
Oh my God, my son or daughter better come out to me if they're straight. that is non-negotiable. If I pay tax, the next generation is paying too. Because I personally believe that being straight is
privilege.
Yeah. It's like a show. I don't get it.
Yeah.
No, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know because right now my state of mind is different based on the experiences that I've gone through. But I mean, if I did not have these experiences, if I knew nothing and was there, prayerful child of Mary and all those things, I would definitely look at my child and be like, you are insane, So without the education that I have now, if tables had turned, then I don't know if I would be understanding. Maybe I would have been even a different person. Now I'm understanding because of this, but I think I would have been someone so different. I'd be looking at my child and thinking, you are going to go to hell.
I'm a parent.
Yeah.
I'm a parent. Atenze nchidamu abana. Sigamanti I'm teaching or what. I made sure that they do not know about heterosexuals or straight people. They will get their own knowledge. They will grow up their own way. You love whoever the hell you want to love, sweetie.
Yeah.
I have no say in that.
Okay. So we all agree that KUCHU tax is characterized by feelings of inadequacy or insecurity among the LGBTQ members, and this may be because most of the LGBTQ daily lives are characterized by constant feelings of inadequacy or insecurity, still due to a belief that they are inferior to others, whether such a belief is based on a rational assessment or not. And to prove themselves that they too are worthy, many resort to overcompensating by becoming excessively competitive, overly concerned, caring and loving. Now, I asked you this before, but I'm gonna ask it still. Have you ever experienced this? I'm talking about gay tax. Do you know anyone? Guy, you told us, but yeah, do you know any other person who has been through this, or have you been through this? And if yes, in what ways has it impacted you and your life?
If you've met gay people, we've grown up in communities whereby families are not accepting of us. We've grown on lack of love. That is why we usually say, be kind. Just be kind. You don't know what anybody's going through. Just be kind. So because we've grown up being pushed around, being bullied, being told you're not enough, this is wrong, you're doing it wrong. So you find the urge, when you find like a partner, we smother our partners with too much love, because you are scared every time that they're going to leave, because you've been left before, because you've been thrown out before. So you're always scared that if I'm not very, very good at this, they're going to fire me if they find out about my sexuality. If I'm not very, very good at expressing myself, I'm going to lose out. So it's a constant, it's too much in our heads, trust me. Yeah,
like I already gave an example of some of the things in which where we compensate and stuff like that. But I think the most classic example that some of you probably have had is transport refund. And it's just an entitlement that people have, that somewhere in some way, just when you look at it critically, it just waters down to a tax in some kind. Like, people are so afraid of giving themselves freely to someone that there has to be something to show for it. There has to be something to reward them for doing that. It has to be tangible. I can't just say thank you and that is fine. It will be a problem. I'll become the talk of town. But of course, I do it. I say thank you and you deal with your own problems. But yeah, basically, if we have a day to talk about transport refund, that's the day you see how it falls, into place in this whole there'll be so many things that come out of that conversation that probably have nothing to even do with the transport itself. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. So that has been part 2 of our episode. Wait for part 3. You don't want to miss the interesting conversations on Demystifying the African Sexuality podcast. The DAS Podcast.